Conversations with the Phumzile, the girl next door. You know, when I'm here, it's about that time that I'm gonna have somebody who's gonna come join me in conversation. So today I am gonna be having a conversation with Nono Lekhanya, who is a founder or one of the founders in the Power in My Story, a wonderful group of phenomenal women who are there to support you through your journey when you're going through healing or any other thing. So join me in this conversation, and remember to subscribe, like, and hit that notification button. Me, I am just patiently waiting for these conversations. Join us. Conversations with the Phumzile, the girl next door, is that time of the day or of the night or of the month or of the year. It doesn't matter. Conversations happen every day and anytime. So today, I'm with my girl, Nono. Hey, I butchered this woman's surname more than 100 times, but I'm gonna say it. Nono Lekhanya. Yes. I got it. So, no, sure. I can introduce you in so many ways, but I think, as I've said before, because we've met before, so this is not the first time we're doing this. We've had good conversations, and you also blessed me with your presence when I did my live event. So the bio, I know it's so long and I'm not gonna go through it, but Nono is one of these women that I met by chance. And I say by chance based on when the roads are crossing and going in different directions, and then you bump into a car that you were supposed to bump into, whether it was going to be 2018 or 2022 or by that chance it was going to happen in any way. So a good friend of mine, which is Mnisi, who are part of the podcast, they were like, yo, there's a girl that you need to meet, you guys. So we met, and there's so many things in common, and we just fell in love. And then we became besties. My kids finally were asking me, so are you best friends with Nono now? Like, you just met this year and you guys are besties, you're doing yoga, you're doing twerking. Yes, you are that girl. Welcome again, welcome on board. Yes.
I'm so excited.
Yes, guys, remember to subscribe to our Conversations with the Phumzile, the girl next door. We have grown in numbers. We have reached 500 and above, and I want to say thank you. So that is why we are able to do this and bring our Nono here, so that we can have these fruitful conversations where we can heal, we can grow, we can transform, we can develop. I can't wait to have this conversation with you. So are you well?
I am well. Like I always say, it is well.
It is well. So true.
It is well.
Even though I don't introduce you, but I would like you to just share a bit of a background about Nono. Who is Nono? Where does she come from? Siblings, how many? Number one, number last? Just go out. Just tell me, who is Nono in the big scheme of things before we talk about the deeper issues?
Yeah. Okay, so that question, it always feels like an interview question.
Yeah.
Tell us about yourself.
Oh yes, yeah. Tell us about where you need to think negative, positive, or strength. No weaknesses.
SWOT analysis is there. Pull in. Yeah. So I am the first child. I always say I come from two families.
Okay.
And I was raised by another family, and then I later joined my biological side. So from both sides, I'm Sisu Omkhulu.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sisu
Umdala. I'm the one. The firstborn.
So both families and the biological side of your parents, and what do you call the other two sides? What do you say when you say I come from two sets of parents?
I just say two sets of parents, but I call them Mama and Papa. Okay. All of them.
All right.
So even if you go to the set that I grew up with,
okay,
we are actually cousins. So our mothers are sisters, and they are the only sisters.
Oh, okay.
But you can never go and say the cousin. We don't speak like that.
Okay.
We don't. Anything that happens from the other side or the other side, I'm always the one called as the bigger sister. Any decisions that are made, I'm always involved in both families.
Okay.
So as the bigger sister.
Okay.
So there's no, she's my cousin or no. My siblings from this other set, they still call me Osnoon.
Okay.
So.
Sure. So when you say both, you are also on both. You grew up with one family first and the next.
Yes.
Okay. Share that background.
So
sorry to put you on the spot. Yes.
So yeah, I one day woke up, and when my eyes opened, I realized, oh, okay, this is not really like home.
Yeah.
But no one explained anything.
Okay.
You know, with black parents, there's no explanations. You just join the family.
You're a child.
You're a child. We must raise you.
Yeah.
That's it. So I joined them when I was still a child, like a baby. Like they always say, they learned to understand a child through me, because they didn't have a child at the time.
Okay.
So I grew up there, went to school. They took me to school, everything. Like I was the child.
Okay.
And then my brother came along, my late brother. Then came along another one.
Okay.
And then my sister.
Okay.
I was still there. And I think it was there came a time when it was a bit confusing.
Okay.
You know, as a child, you start evolving and you start trying to find yourself.
Okay.
And I think there was a time where I felt like, I don't know, do I belong anywhere? Where exactly do I belong? Yeah. And then there was a time where I think I was a bit of a troubled child, because I was looking for the other side.
Okay.
So now I don't know how to communicate that, because the whole communication thing is not a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So during that time, I think I really had like a hard time, and even my school grades dropped. I think I was just trying to figure. And then because I was doing that internally, and no one knew that I was going through all this, we just moved on with life.
Okay.
The beauty about, I think maybe it was easy to move on, because it's not that there was anything wrong on that side. So I would be sent home, you know,
home to your biological
to my biological during school holidays.
So you always knew that I have the biological part set, but I'm not living with them.
Yes.
I am here.
I think that I figured later in life. I think maybe when I was in my primary years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then then I would be sent home. At first I would be sent, and I wouldn't understand why. Why am I going that side? Okay, fine. And I was the only one going. Now my two brothers are here. My sister wasn't there at the time. So it was just all that. And then I would go home. Okay, I would understand that. Oh, okay, so this is my mother, this is my father. Okay. But the setting was different. It was so different that I even questioned if I really, really belonged on the biological side.
Multi-belonged, like you questioned if these were your biological parents.
Yes.
Okay.
I literally no, I didn't think they were. And sadly, I look exactly like them. But you know, I think later in life, when you are now an adult, you start wondering, were they hiding something from? Maybe I'm not, you know. Actually, maybe I'm not. But it's
story for another
day. I don't know. But I think I do belong in the biological side. I also belong on the other side. It is what it is. So I think that's where there was a bit of confusion in my life at some point. Then I didn't want to leave.
Okay.
I worked at it so long internally that I started looking around and feeling comfortable on this side. Like I say, there was nothing wrong. Maybe that's the reason. It was so comfortable that at a very young age, I literally felt maybe this was meant to be. And I'm glad
However
it happened. However, yes.
There was a reason for it.
Definitely.
Okay.
And I was actually happy with that decision at some point. And unfortunately, when I became comfortable and happy with the decision, that's when I had to really leave.
And leave, and then to move
to my biological side.
So where was that? Home is in
Qwaqwa.
Oh, Qwaqwa.
At the time, we were still staying in Qwaqwa.
Okay.
This is before Papa got the parliament. He was working at the parliament, so they moved to Bloemfontein. So home, my other home now is Bloem.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then the move.
Okay. The move.
Goes the move.
The move. If there was a time in my life where I felt a shift, a shift that was so uncomfortable, that is the time.
Okay.
I think.
How old were you now?
I think I was going into grade 11.
Okay.
Even talking about it.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a reason why I'm asking about your background as a young girl first before we get into. So yeah, sorry.
So one day I wake up and I'm told you are going, and this is let me go back a few steps back. So few steps back, when I was doing grade 8, I was supposed to leave, and then Papa was like, no ways. But I didn't know there was an argument, a huge argument that was happening behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And I
was not part of it.
I wasn't
happening.
No.
Yeah.
Luckily, they were very good at hiding a lot from me. They did their best to make my childhood memorable.
Okay. And comfortable.
And comfortable, yes.
Okay.
So I remember going to my principal and telling him, I need my transfer card, I need my what and what. And he literally came to school and I didn't even know he was actually going to. That moment was the most beautiful moment I'll never forget. You know, if you would ask me how I felt about Papa, he's late now. He got my back. Like he's been the one fighting and and putting all things together just to make sure that, you know, my life is comfortable, like you say. Yeah. So I think when I had to leave, the way it was done, maybe that also had an impact on the pain that I feel today. Sometimes as parents, we make decisions, and I think with the generation that came before us, with our kids now, we sit down and we chat. We say, so this is what's going to happen, this is how we are transitioning you, we're putting you in this, and this is why, what's your take? For me, there was no question. I got in a taxi. I remember my grandmother taking me to the taxi, and I had this big I
just imagine this bag. I'm not gonna call it by name, but
suitcase. It was a suitcase, and this is still a child. I'm still like that petite size 32, size 30 child, young lady who hasn't even figured herself out. Oh, shame. You know, I'm in a taxi, and I'm crying my heart out. I'm crying the whole trip. So the taxi would go to Helbron, and we would stop there for food to buy. There's a shop that we used to go and buy. I used to travel a lot by myself. So we got there. I mean, I remember this lady saying, shame, this child, this poor child. And she was taking care of me the whole trip. The whole trip. They were buying stuff for me. Oh, this child, because I was the only child in the taxi anyway. And
not to
yeah, you know. And then I went and I walked into this new that was going to be my life.
Your home.
This knew that was going to be a part of me for up until now. And little did I know that I was walking into
another
era. I wonder if I stayed, I would be where I am mentally. I don't know. There's things that, the shift happened in such a way that, looking back, I feel like it had to happen.
Okay.
It was not nice, but it had to happen. For my growth, I think for my growth. We lived a very comfortable life before.
Okay.
It was so comfortable. Yes. Everything was done for us.
Yeah.
We were those children. There was always a nanny.
Yes. Okay.
Everywhere.
Yes.
We never had to wake up and worry about cleaning. Listen,
and that was the side.
That was this side.
Now you moved.
Now I moved. Yay. That side was the opposite of this side.
Finally, before you move on, I don't normally prep. I don't normally send questions and all that. But for the first time, I'm like, with Nono, we'd had so many conversations, and there's so much more that I wanna ask you and get, so that before we get to what you do now currently, which is, if all this didn't happen, there's a reason why I'm asking. Finally, the question that I had, I was going to ask you, can you share the catalyst or a turning point that initiated your personal transformation journey? Which you just said, the shift.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
Is that part of where your transformation journey on a different... Okay, continue. That's why.
That was the start of my transformation.
Okay.
But I still didn't know.
Wow.
At the time, I didn't know.
Yeah.
I moved into, and with excitement. This is the thing. When I went to stay with my biological side, I was excited. I was very happy that I'm finally going to know my mother, like really spend time with my mother. Relationship with my mother was so key, guys. It was so important to me.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. I still even today, I don't think I have the answer for that. I don't know if there's actually an answer for that. I mean, a relationship between a mother and a daughter is a relationship.
Yeah.
There's no need to, But I was excited.
Yeah.
At the time, my younger sister was there. My younger brother wasn't born yet, or I think he was born, but he's still a child, like a baby.
Okay.
So I got along mostly with my biological sister, Mosa. And I loved her. I loved her. Like, I wanted to protect her, I just wanted to protect her. Well, I still love her. Not loved.
Yeah.
I love her every now. I'm sure if she listens to this, she'll be like,
girl, what happened?
So you don't love
me
anymore.
When did you love go?
So I loved her. I kind of resumed the role of a mother to her, I think.
More than a big sister.
More than a big sister.
Yeah.
And I think the reason was joining my side of the biological side, my relationship with my mother was so sour. I think we didn't understand each other at all.
She didn't know you.
She didn't know me. I didn't know her. But as a child, I was looking forward. I think as a child, you have expectations.
Yeah. But the virtue that this is your mother,
exactly.
We always have this conception that it must be organic.
Yeah, natural.
It must naturally so, and it must be a beautiful, good, healthy bond.
Yeah.
That's our assumption.
That's it.
Okay.
Nothing else.
That's assumptions that we have. Okay.
S for you and me. Somebody used to explain assumption, the meaning of the S for you and me.
Yes.
Assumption. S for you and me.
Yeah.
So I join, and things are not looking the way. At the time, I think it took a long time trying to figure and understand.
Understand yourself, understand the relationship, understand...
Not even myself. I think I wanted to understand the relationship.
Okay.
I was more focused on my relationship with my mother.
Okay.
With my sister, I was done. Everything was good. With my dad, good. Yeah. I was his favorite.
Okay.
So I didn't have to do much work.
Okay.
It's like I knew he showed the love. But I was struggling with with
Mom.
my mother, and it took a lot. It took years of not. I think we are still figuring things even now.
Yeah.
So this is grade 11. I get to grade 11. I come home and I realized they didn't look for school for me.
Sure.
So I had to be the one doing that myself. But this is the thing. I'm from English medium, you know, like we were at good schools.
Yeah.
English, and I have never done Sesotho. So now I don't know how I'm going to maneuver around the fact that now I need, because the other schools are now full, what, and they wanted me to go back because I was still young, and now I had to settle
For that,
going to
normal
public school. It was a good school though. I really admire how they surrounded me. It was hard at first. They literally created even a program for me to study Sesotho from grade 7, to take me along. So I would go after school. I would go to this different one, and then grade 8, grade 9. So I just to catch up and understand Sesotho. I mean, I'm Sotho, and one thing that doesn't make sense is that school Sotho and the spoken Sotho that we is
totally different. Yeah.
I had no clue what these people were saying.
I have a thing about that. Conversation for another day. I have a thing about us being cultured, or us being proud of who we are and understanding a language yethu and sikhulume ngendlela where it's our language and it's easy. But because of the school, because of the work and all that, we find ourselves actually not even really knowing our language.
True.
And we want to get to a point whereby we know this language that is a communicator now for everybody else to hear clearer than our own, which is that's why I mean at home I try ukuthi la ufunda khona we like really speak Zulu, and so that kujwayeleke ukuthi when you are home, you are home. When you're at school, mama like mama mommy like, mama. But anyway, I digress. But I get it.
Another day.
But I get
you
what,
already have.
Yeah.
So that's that. I was struggling, getting home late, and that time my mother is also struggling with who I am.
Yeah.
This person that sort of looks like they know themselves. Like I'm at the time I was still bold, but that's the confidence I got from where I was coming from.
Yeah.
Bold, not shy, get in the room, get what I want. I was that. It looked like I was a confident person, and I'm saying that now. Maybe while as we go, I'll explain why I say it looked like. I do believe there was a bit of it, but it was built on some other things, built from some other things.
Sure.
So she was battling to understand this person, and I think later on I got to understand why. Later when I understood, I think I understood that she was battling with seeing herself. I think I'm everything she wanted to be, and she couldn't put that
like articulated like for herself with a concept within the concept in her mind and heart. But this is my being, this is my human being,
exactly.
And looking at her, and it doesn't feel like my human being. And I can see she is mine because of everything that she does that I could have been, or where did she get to be that, because it's not taught from me, but she is me. That kind of
so there was a bit of a clash between her and I, as much as, and at the same time I was still also an introvert. I was extra intro.
All in one.
She really battled. I also battled. I think for me, if she would sit down with me and ask me, what is it that you battled with, I would say, I just wanted to know you,
and that's
all.
So did that go through until your adult life, or there was a point whereby you got better? where you are now?
It has been a long time experience that needed family to intervene. It has been real. So I think if I didn't make a decision on my own without anyone, because growing up I was told, no, you need to understand that, try and understand her.
Okay.
And I think throughout my life I had the anger of adults telling a child to understand
when it's not their
when
place to.
I felt you were supposed to help me, you were supposed to tell her how to be with me, not the other way around.
Sure. So that's your background, that's your young life, and then going into adult life. Then career,
everything happened by chance, like you and I met. Chance.
There's this girl next door who does this. You must come. That's it. You are here.
And then first day,
yes,
flames and all were flowing. So I then finished matric and realized there's no money for me to further my studies. I wanted to further my studies. Like it was a thing that was so important for me because of where I come from. So my mindset was still structured based on my environment, where I come from. Yes. Everything, I think, up until now. Yes. So books were important. They were so important that even in high school I was a prefect, library prefect. It was that important. So I love reading. Library prefect, and I was chosen by my friends because they all the time I was holding a book. So that part was something that I felt I had a plan. Let me just say I had a plan.
Okay.
Yeah. By this age I'm going to do this. By this age, ask me now. Please ask me if all those plans happen.
How did the plans pan out?
They didn't happen. None of them.
It had to be the way it was supposed to be.
It had to be the way it was supposed to be. Universe was saying, girl, we have keep planning.
We have the plans for you.
We know what we want for you.
Okay.
And since then, since I was young, I knew I wanted to work with people.
Okay.
That I knew.
Okay.
From a child, I knew I wanted to just help people.
Okay.
I don't know how, but I knew I wanted to help people.
And would you say that's the calling based?
I would say
knowledge.
That.
Okay.
I would say that. I've always said that.
Okay.
If anybody would ask me, what do you want to do? I know I wanted other things, but I always said, if I can have a place where I will be helping people,
then I'm fine.
Yeah. Okay. But life happens. So when I transitioned into this newness that came into my life, where I joined my biological side, all that fell apart.
Okay.
All the things you think of fell apart. So
you get the job.
I stay at home. So after matric, I stayed for like a year.
Okay.
Trying my hardest to not bother my parents, because I know they can't afford that I knew for sure.
Anything.
Yes.
Okay.
And then, but I was angry. I was angry at them. I felt like, you were supposed to look for school for me when I was doing grade 11. You didn't. Even now, come on now, I gave you a chance. Like I gave you 2 years at least. Still no. Okay, it's fine. I literally sat in the house for like the whole year. I never left my room.
This time tonight, we call it gap year. When are you just said?
Oh my goodness. And did I even use it then? I didn't.
That was gap year, girl. You were supposed to use it in a gap year.
Right.
You just didn't see it. But anyway.
While I'm in my gap year, I guess my mom says, please, she sends me to the shops.
Yeah.
It's freaking hot. And I'm like, no, I'm complaining. Mama, but why would you? Like, it's, Then I go.
Yeah.
When I got there, I meet this guy. At the time, the guy I met the guy like maybe 2 years back.
Yeah.
When I was still in school, and I think he was dating a friend of mine.
Okay.
I meet him, and he's like, "Hey, how have you been?
Yeah.
What? Chance."
Nice.
Then he's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, now I don't want to embarrass myself. I don't want to. I'm like, no, I'm still looking for school, you know.
Yes.
Yeah. And then he's like, okay, and would you consider working? I'm like, yeah. He's like, okay, tomorrow. There's a deadline tomorrow. There's a position, a receptionist position. Tomorrow it's the deadline. So bring your CV.
Yeah.
Did you not see me run? Go and do my CV.
Yeah.
1 page.
Yeah.
Because I hadn't done anything in my
primary school, high school, and gap year.
Ask me what was on my CV. Ask me, please.
And then ambitions.
and sports.
Okay. Yes. Oh, by the way, library.
Library.
So at least there was
something.
Okay. One page going.
Then
nice.
To Postnet, asked them to type it for me.
Nice.
Took it. Then I did the waiting, whatever. The following week, I was called by Jan Klassen.
Yeah.
I'll never forget the guy because he also played such a big role. I've had angels in my life that played such big roles in enhancing my life. I don't take for granted my meetings with people.
Okay.
I don't. I always know something is going to happen out of that.
Yeah.
And this person is sent for me.
Yeah.
Nice. So Jan Klassen calls and is like, "Oh, you got the job." No, you come in for the interview. No, that's the interview call. And I'm like, "Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm excited. And then I go for the interview. Then I'm like, they're like, okay, so in the interview, I remember the English was not an issue. Then I'm asked about Afrikaans.
Oh, Condes Bloom.
And on say here Milfan on.
Yeah.
And I'm like, guys, come on now.
MEDIQ.
We will with the Afrikaans. It's not an issue. We'll though. On Salien and this and what. Yeah. And luckily I got the job. I think the guy just loved my energy. And when I got there, I get to be this receptionist. Yes, girl. And the answering of the phone, is proper. Hey, everybody wants to see this receptionist. Yeah, people are coming to see this receptionist because they heard the twang.
The twang on the phone. Who's this young thing?
Hey? Man. Wow. I sort of transformed.
And just right there, by chance, now you are working.
Now I'm working.
And then qualification-wise, career that you went into.
Listen, 2 months in, there's a probation.
Yeah.
Not 2 months in, I'm like, Kenya, can I have money? I got a bursary and I need to study.
Wow.
Because I got the bursary. When I got the call for my appointment, I luckily got the bursary. But it was paying 1/3 of my tuition fees.
Nice.
I was going to do HR. And then the CEO then is like, do you understand there's a thing called probation? I'm like, guys, come on. Probation for being a receptionist. Come on. I just answer the calls and just put them through. Take notes. Come on now. Do we have to?
Yeah.
And boom, get my bursary.
Nice.
I studied and I got my HR diploma at the time. Okay. The reason I was speaking about Jan Klassen was my mentor because he was an HR director at the time. At the time, the municipalities were calling there wasn't municipal managers. There wasn't.
So the effect now that you're doing your face, I'm like,
you also going.
Like I'm also going. But anyway, not that I'm okay. But anyway, now that
you're here. So yeah, that was that. So I study HR with the intention to further HR, but I realized, but this is not me.
Yeah.
I did it because an uncle did it.
So
and then they were like, you must do it as well. No, I left it. And then years went by. I decided I didn't do anything. I didn't do much. Then I was promoted. And then the last year of me being at the municipality, so I was with the municipality for quite a long time.
Oh, okay.
And then I started applying because I really felt like I'm a result-driven person. So I felt like I was just not being myself. And I wanted a place where I can just, And by grace, I got a job at Sasol. I left, went to work at Sasol in Rosebank. That
was that you moved to Joburg for the first time, or
no, I didn't move.
Oh, okay.
I was traveling.
Okay, perfect.
I didn't move.
Okay.
Then I get there. That year, it was in 2007. I remember because that's when my grandmother passed. So in our family, we hadn't had a funeral that close.
Okay.
So I struggled. Emotionally, it was horrible. My first day at work was the day I just buried my grandmother. And I struggled. For years, I struggled. I stayed there, but I had to hold my head up high. I mean, I'm excited for this
new environment
and something that I've always wanted. I mean, people who knew me knew that I wanted to work for Sasol.
Oh, wow.
I've said it many times that, guys, if I have to leave, I have to go to Sasol.
Nice one.
Fine, get there. I get the best team.
Nice.
I've never had a woman boss in my entire life.
Yeah.
In my entire working life.
Yeah.
So that was another part of me that was now that was another transitioning.
Okay.
I'm going through the most emotionally, but now I have to learn this new environment. I have to learn this new job that I just gotten. I was under company secretarial department. We were working with advisors to the CEO. So this was a big deal for me. Working with the board, it was such a big deal. I stayed for like a year, and after the year, I couldn't. The traveling was just too much for me.
Okay.
And I felt like my kids were suffering at the same time. Because when I get home, it's already late. I'm tired. I don't have time for them. At the time, I am married. That's my first marriage. It's just a lot. A lot was just happening during that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's about that. I think then I stayed with Sasol for as long as...
With your career, that's your career life. Okay.
I moved around Sasol companies.
Oh, okay.
Because remember, Sasol is Sasol Pty Ltd. It has companies.
Ah, yes.
There's Sasol Petroleum, there's Infrachem, there's Sasol Wax. So I traveled inside and enhanced my education while I was still. So inside, when I started with Sasol, then I studied industrial and org psychology.
Okay.
So when I did that, I was literally running away from psychology, studying psychology.
Then you thought that this one, it's better.
This one is
industrial, I know. It's about people, it's not about other emotions.
No, I don't want emotions.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to cry with this person. I don't want somebody sitting with me and telling me their problems, crying, because I'm going to cry with them.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to go and fight with them.
Yeah.
So I was like, industrial, let's go. So that's
where the career life
started.
Now, okay, as you can see, we're drinking the power in my story water. Then how did that come about? I wanted to let you talk about your background, home, career, because I think when I met you and when we talked about the power in my story, it became like a wow factor to me to say, that's why for me, I wanted you to go deeply in who you are. Because with your story, what you shared sometime before this, now at least I'm hearing it fully, not the bits and pieces of, to say the importance of the power in our stories. that leads us to the purpose of why we do what we do and how it happens for you to then be in a space where you empower others differently. So you're transitioning, your story, you're moving in different places, different emotions, and transforming yourself as an individual without proper, I'm not saying proper guidance in terms of there was not mom and dad to move here, go there, but in your head you needed more guidance, but it had to happen naturally from you fighting. What is the power in my story? Who is behind the power in my story? What does the power in my story do? And why is it also important for us to understand the power in our stories?
Can I start with that?
Yes.
Why it's important for us to understand the power in our story? It's important because it takes us to an understanding of who we really are. You know, it doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter with the journey. That molding takes you to understanding who you really are and how powerful you actually are. I think we underestimate our small beginnings, we underestimate our journeys, we underestimate our stories. We don't understand the power that lies in the story. The power in my story started in 2020. So at the time I had lost my brother from my first side of the family. We were very close. I had lost him. I didn't understand, you know. With his loss, it was, we just spoke now. Okay, we will see you soon, what, and then in the evening we get a call. It was that type of call. And I remember I lost it. I was on my way to buying food at the time. And my husband was driving, luckily. And Papa called and I could feel, you know, when you feel like I know what he's going to say, but I'm not ready. I don't think I'm ready for that. And he continued. Papa is a very kind, he was a kind person. He was kind to your soul. You know, someone who always tries to, you know, mold things just so you don't get. Papa was that person. So I could hear he's trying to mold the story. You know, mommy, this, you know, things happen. And I'm like,
oh, long story.
Oh my goodness, I can already, And then he says, yeah, Tepo is no more. Oh my goodness, did I not? I couldn't.
And where was Tepo when
he was in Bloom? We were working together on a project. He had just gone home because he was not feeling. He was ill. So then because he hadn't seen Mama Le Papa for like a long time, because we were working together on a project in somewhere in Free State, he just wanted to go home. And he was pushing it. And we were forcing him not to, but he wanted to go.
He just wanted to go home.
And he did. When he got there, he got like seriously ill. We were told it's COVID. And yeah, it was horrible. He had to stay in the outside room. And obviously we never saw him after that. So that was that. I lost it. I literally, you know, if I was driving, I don't know what would have happened. I literally asked my husband to stop the car right, and I couldn't. I was just screaming and crying. So we did what we had to do, buried him, and thankfully there were people he was such a kind person. He knew almost everyone. If he got to know you, he was going to know your uncle,
Everybody.
your aunt. Like he was that type of, so he was there for everyone. He was, I don't know how, if I could tell you his funeral, it was COVID, but his funeral was still full.
Restrictions and all.
We tried to do the right things. You know, they did a walk, a drive-by.
Yeah. All those drive-by.
Yeah. The cars were so many.
Sure. Okay.
So he really was, to be honest, I don't think we were ready for that.
For his passing.
Yeah. So now this is the second passing. No, this is the third passing that is so close.
Okay.
And I don't think I think we're still maneuvering around that. And then the part of my story starts. So I was so angry with health professionals because I think at some point we were told, no, it was because of the machines. The story that I still don't understand. I don't even want to speak about it because I don't know if it's facts.
Okay.
So I was very angry with the professionals, health professionals. But something kept on saying, in my anger, something kept on saying, you know, even if you are angry, have you thought about them? Have you thought about what they're going through? And this thing kept bothering me, and I wanted to just shove it.
And you said this is COVID time.
This is
2020.
Yeah.
So this comes into your mind because I think COVID time, everybody was just going through their own mess and all that, and the health professionals were in the face of COVID.
Definitely.
In the face of the disease.
They were faced with this pandemic that they had to figure how to go with it as well.
Okay.
Yeah, not only us. And then somebody said, no, let's have a Zoom session, and that's how it started.
Okay.
So we started off as Zoom session. We are all ladies just coming there to just chat, chat about anything, not even COVID related stuff, but just anything. Emotional, whatever.
Support.
Yes. Okay. And it went and went. At some point, I hit a brick wall.
Okay.
I hit a brick wall because I started something with no planning.
Wow.
No planning. And also, it kind of felt like I hadn't dealt with my own issues.
Okay.
And it felt like I was carrying everyone, just not myself.
Okay.
And at some point, I had to say, guys, I have to stop.
Yep.
I need to go into my own self and my own retreat. And that's how the power in my story started.
Yeah.
Then the ladies were like, okay, while you are doing that, when the gates open, please think of us meeting in person.
Okay.
So we left it at that. Then later on, I think in 2021, sometime late in the, then I started with the event. I think my first event was literally after Papa's passing. Papa also passed the following year. Sure. So we are still dealing with Sepo's passing, and now it's Papa.
Sure.
He had lung cancer, and it had spread like badly. At some point we had hope. They told us, no, it's cleared. He even visited us, sat for like a month, but during that time he really got sick.
Yeah.
Only to find out it started and it had spread. And it was now at the last stages. I think we did all sorts of things. Listen, we cooked the herbs. I think we were really, to be honest with you, we were saving him. We were doing the saving. I think every day we inquired from other people, cooked so many medicines just so Papa doesn't go. It was hard. Maybe because he was such a strong person. Seeing someone so strong deteriorate the way he did was so horrible. He lost weight, lost hair, and just when we were told, oh no, he's gonna have 3 years, don't worry. that didn't last. It was actually 3 days, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Then he left. So that was that. The power in my story was still continuing, but still, the events were happening. But still, I could feel that I'm dying. I'm not okay. So it's that period, and I decided again.
Do you know what was that?
I think it was to be honest, being the older sister doesn't really, you always carry everyone.
Okay.
You carry everyone to your detriment. And that's me. That's how I was pushed into roles of being the older sister, to being the mother, to being the father, to a point that I didn't know how to stop. So I literally didn't know how to stop. I didn't even know how to do it. Okay. Whether there's a way for me to do. This time I'm starting my coaching lessons, because I decided
you coaching others,
yes,
into coping and how to deal with their.
So I first started studying first,
okay,
because I wanted to understand the journey of being a coach, what it is, and I was more inclined to cognitive behavioral therapy. Okay. And I think my reason was I've always been fascinated by mind. Because I saw how my mind worked throughout my life.
Yeah.
And I think I wanted to understand more. And I wanted to give someone this gift that I think I had.
Yeah.
So my mind being able to fathom things that even adults would say I would not have. Yeah. How are you coping? How are you doing this? Sure. Even by my late father, he would always say that, Mommy, you're too strong for a child.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the fascination came from there, from my own life.
Yeah. And
that led to me understanding, so that's why I was going through
all of this.
Because everything that I've gone through, I will sit with someone, and this person will speak about what I went through. So I will sit there and I'll be listening to myself. I've been listening to myself forever now. I think it's crazy.
Are you saying that, not that are you saying, is that concept that the power in my story, which not only the concept of your organization, but generally as individuals, the power in our stories is everything that we are doing when we are sitting here is because what we've gone through, there's a reason for it at the later life, because you need to serve others.
Yes.
With that understanding.
Yes. I believe that.
Yeah.
I believe that. I don't think it works for everyone, but for me, I believe it worked for me.
So is it something that in the power in the story that helps others to understand whatever you're going through is for a purpose and a reason? Is that what power in my story does when you're sharing with others or when you're coaching with others?
Yes. I would wish for people to understand that there is power in, no matter the story. Okay. There is power in that story. That story is going to form a part of a toolkit for someone else's survival. I would wish for people to understand that we are human beings. We are beings that are here to perform certain duties, or to put ourselves out there and be used by the universe, because we are necessary like that. We are powerful.
We are necessary like that.
Exactly.
As human beings.
As human beings. We cannot just walk on earth for nothing. We don't walk on earth for nothing. That's my belief. I believe we are here to complete something.
Okay. And complete something and complete others.
And complete others in the process. And also they complete you.
Yeah.
Because
your purpose is served.
Yes.
Okay.
Definitely.
Sure. So the type of events that you were doing, what are those, so that when we talk about the power in my story, and I love why I think I'm letting this conversation go the way it's going without details, because the power is within your story for what you are doing currently now. So why the events, and what's the form of the event, and what are the purpose of the events that you do?
So the events we heal through others' stories.
Okay.
And I felt that 2020 we were all hit by this thing that we all didn't know.
Yeah.
2021, I think collectively in 2020 we were all in it.
Yeah.
Just figuring what's going on. 2021, I think we were now at a point where we were like, shoo, okay, it happened, what now? And then 2022, I think there we were like all figuring ourselves as individuals, but all along it was just taking everything from 2020 up until. So for me, when we did the events, I think it was the idea was not to lose ourselves in the pain. And trust me, that time I still didn't get what I was doing. What I knew for sure was I don't want us to lose ourselves. Let's come and chat. Let's talk. What's unique about us? We wanted results we wanted accountability. We want you to we hold each other accountable. If you need an accountability buddy, please do that.
I have this question. And like I'm following nicely, and I'm glad that I planted the questions based on your story. And I somehow, because we had some conversations, so part of me, I understand. I hope everybody will understand where we're going with this. Now you are here. This is Conversations with the Phumzile, the girl next door, and I always said the tagline is the conversations that heal. You shared your story and your journey. Then you're saying this year, 2020, 2021. Where is Nono now? You shed few tears in carrying everybody else, in starting the power in my story, in bringing everybody else through a journey of healing, a journey of sharing our stories so that we get better, because the more you talk about stuff, the more you get better. But is Nono well? Has Nono healed? Has Nono gone through her own process of healing self?
I will be honest. I said on your event that there's always an assumption that when a person is standing on a podium or on a stage, we are all okay. Like we've got it figured out. Healing is a process. It's like I'm peeling an onion. It's a process. We are all going through life at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Whether you are a psychologist, a doctor, a teacher, a cleaner, we are still going through life. How you impact on other people doesn't mean your life is put together.
There's no storms in your life anymore.
There's still storms. I still walk my purpose in pain. And one thing I normally do, I check in. I check myself. When I'm not ready to help someone about something that I know I haven't healed from, I don't.
Okay.
I'm very particular with that. If we are going to speak about grief, I'm not there yet.
Okay.
So I'll be honest with you and tell you I would love to take you on, but I can't.
Yeah.
But I can sit.
Yeah. You still grieving?
I think I am. I think with my father it has been the hardest thing. It's still hard, like every time. When I think I'm done, then it pops again. So yes, I'm still grieving. My father is definitely.
Who is in your circle of support where you have, or is the power in my story also part of your circle of people that when you fall apart, like you were talking about in your first born as well? And I know that sometimes you carry everybody else, and you were saying it again, you continue without being aware that you've left yourself long wherever at the back. You've left yourself, and there will be small things that remind you that, hey, there's this person. I even shared earlier to say, it will be either I bumped my car, or I hit my leg, or I hit something that will remind me, I'm human. Like, remember you, there's Phumzile, like, because I don't go to the doctor often, there's things that I don't normally do, and they will force you to go to the doctor to say, what's wrong with you, then I know that I need to reflect and say, because we run. So I know you go through, but with your journey and your story to where you are now, are you at the point whereby you are able to be kind to yourself, to have people where you don't take the firstborn role always and be mothers to everybody else? Are you there yet?
Yes, luckily with that, I do understand some of the techniques that I use for my coaching. Honestly, I do put them to myself as well. I don't just give people what I don't have. So yes, I do have a support system. I will always say my spirituality is so important. But it's a journey that I'm still discovering how it fits into me. Yes, and I do have siblings that understand my journey. The beauty about my siblings is that they all understand how I've tried to carry everyone. So they more like, no, this time we do this for you. It's
Did
no
you
longer
teach them that, or it happened automatically?
No, it happened automatically. So there's both sides. I get this side is it happened automatically. The biological side, it took a while. It took a while.
Makes sense.
I think it's the environment that one is raised in. It does have an impact on how we behave, how we think. So I think that played such a big role to them. Unfortunately, with us, we literally raised ourselves. My siblings, my biological siblings, we literally raised ourselves. So I think it took a lot out of us, and it took.
So it kind of helped you guys to know how to support each other and take care. So I asked that question before. I'll ask my almost closing question. That I did a video early in the year, and I think I need to do the review of the year about the words of the year. I don't do resolutions, and I also don't fall. My calendar doesn't fall in the Christmas. It doesn't mean September was the new year. So hallelujah, Amandala. So this season is for other people, definitely. Kemaho was not us. So I did the words of the year, where I look into the things that I need to work with, or what do I want to manifest in the year. So I asked that particular question because we don't normally teach other people to support us, because we do stuff. And when I sat and talked about one particular one, boundaries, which is something that I learned in the year, to say, we look at boundaries and we always like, even at my coaches, we always come, guys, you need to have safe or healthy boundaries and all that. But they always seemed like outside. That's why I'm asking that particular question, so that even other people watching out there in this story, where they can take some of the lessons and the learning and how you develop and how you work with your story to be better for others and whoever that you need to serve. I learned that most boundaries must be inwards facing, because when they are outside facing, to say I'm gonna create a boundary for people not to step in, forgetting that you didn't have a boundary, so people were able to walk in. You must always support them. You must always take care of others, because you were the being. You were the firstborn. You were the mother. You are the coach. You are everything else, and everybody else who come to you doesn't then necessarily know how to then hold space for you. And then when you are falling apart, and Nono comes, Phumzile ke batla go bua le wena, mphethwe stress, and that day I'm falling apart, and I'm like, why does Nono think they must always call me when they have stress, as if I don't have stress? Because then you don't come back and say. That's why I asked Uguti, did you teach them, or it happened automatically? Because sometimes we lose that part, or we it doesn't happen, but why me? Because at that time you are falling apart, but you forgot that your natural being is always on steroids, where you are cleaning up. You are, because of your
Very
story, your background, how you were raised, how you were able to hold your yourself, because Mama and Papa were not there to hold. So that comes very natural to you too.
Yes, definitely.
Like I can parent myself, because not that they couldn't or they didn't know how, it's their own stories, but you did it so well to a point whereby how does your siblings and other people able to hold space for you? That's why I'm particular with that question.
I hear you.
Because this is, for me, the new lessons with where we are, maybe with the power in our stories, but how do we then teach ourselves for other people to hold space for us? So is that with your siblings, but in your circle of friends and work, is people holding space for you?
True. I would say my family has been my grounding, more than friends outside. I do have friends fell off as I went, especially when I started with my journey in the power in my story. I think bit by bit, maybe there were certain things that were not aligned anymore. I think, but when it comes to my family, it was a struggle. It didn't just happen. It didn't. I would even say, I think we got to understand. They got to understand me. Maybe later from last year, maybe that's when they started understanding. Because I also had to really be consistent. I think one thing for sure, be kind to yourself. Know that you are also moving from something, and you're moving into a foreign place. So you're learning to put boundaries. You're learning to teach people how to treat you. Try to be kind to yourself. You are moving into a foreign space. You don't know how that is going to feel like, because your whole life has been this comfortable. And try not, in the process of that, try not to fall back, because that has been comfortable. So I had to learn that. I had to take small steps. Micro steps are so key. We always want to change, but bigger things. We just,
and then start with small things.
Even with the power in my story.
Like how I wake up now at 5 and read. Small steps.
Small steps. So you wake up and you read, you even starting with 10 pages.
Even one.
Even one step is still a step. At the end of the day, there's something.
It's okay to read at least a page every day.
Can I suggest at least 5?
Okay, we'll get.
Okay, right. It's fine. Steps, micro steps is so key. Understand that you are moving into a foreign self. You don't know what that is going to be like. It could be daunting. It could be, you don't know how to be this new person. So you are learning. You are like a baby. Now you are starting from the scratch. You are trying to figure how, now do I let people in? How do I not let them in? Forgive yourself. Forgive for allowing nonsense to be part of your life for the years that it may have taken. Just forgive yourself. You didn't know, and
there's no manual to this life. Because most people use that only for parenting. You didn't even come with your manual. We're not, as a human being, this is how I'm gonna navigate.
Listen,
so there is no
parenting
manual.
is clapping us now.
But even self is clapping us. So that's why.
So, but it's always so good to just be intentional. I think being intentional is just you deciding that, you know what, I want better for myself. I want another better. Not that what you've been through wasn't a good thing. It was for you. It wasn't to you. It was for you. So I just allow yourself to just ease into a new being. It's okay to even fall while in the process. It's okay. It's your life. You don't owe anyone the right, the fela monthong, the right takes. No, you don't owe anyone 100%. do the 100%. If you want the 100%, do it for you.
Yeah.
Let that pouring into you is so important that it will allow you to know how to pour into others. We don't know how to pour into others, like you are saying. So my siblings would not have known how to respond to me now with this new person that's saying I'm the one who needs help.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I had to be the one who becomes vocal. So I was intentional.
Vocal and vulnerable and
vulnerable.
Be able to say, I can't do
anything.
This today. Yeah.
Anything.
Okay.
If it meant that I'm home and I sleep the whole day, which I never did, I would get home and want to be there for everyone. Cook for mama, do this for... I was just all over.
Yeah.
Now I can go home and just lie on mama's bed.
And like,
I'm down and out. I don't know what to do. I haven't figured anything.
Yeah.
I think people, like I say, people tend to think, no, but you should know.
You got it together.
But when you are a CBT coach.
Yes.
You did industrial psychology, man, sisters. You should know these things. No. When it's your craft, it's your life. You are going through it. You are not just looking into. You are going through it. It's
this
you
almost feels
traveling.
like you are like closing it up for me. Maybe we've been gone beyond an hour. It's so good to sit and listen. I talk a lot, with conversations. That's why it started, because I talk a lot. But I really, in you sharing your story, it's a pleasure to listen, and understand, So I know I can go on, but in closing, the last question I have for you, then you will close. The last question and then you close.
Okay.
Are there any misconception about Nono that you've gone through that people see this, like I know you've touched it, would say, you a CBT coach, you are this, you have qualification, you've gone through life, wasebenza, wafunda, you've done it, So what are other misconceptions that you've gone through about Nono in your personal life, not more in your career in professional space?
That I grew up being told I see myself like I'm gay born.
Why born?
Gay born, and people didn't understand. No,
I'll confess later.
I'm not even that person. Okay, confess later. I wanna hear. But I've always gotten that what people didn't know, or I also didn't know at the time I was growing, I was finding myself. I had a wall that I had to build to protect myself.
Okay.
I wasn't getting that. Your first person that you need to trust is your mother.
Yeah.
She birthed you, so there's no way the trust wouldn't be there.
Okay.
When I didn't get that, I couldn't trust anyone else. So I closed off.
Okay.
And when I closed off, I looked like someone who's just... Yeah.
Yes, phone. Lekhanya. Nono. How you doing, girl?
Hey, superwoman.
Okay, so that is, and then you nod.
I did
nothing at all. So confession is
come and get to know me. Hey.
Even Siri at the houses. Actually, even Wobbles. No, confession is like also with my daughter. When not for Waibona, but I think my misconception of you when I saw you is like, this girl is so quiet and reserved. Conversation. Because hey, Kari, like I must find a way to get, And when we had the event on the 19th, so Mbali was like, this is Nono, Sis Nono is poised. Sis Nono, you need to know your story before you go to her and all that. So when the event was finished and you were like, no, let's go out. Where to? And all that. And then she says, yo, mama, Sis Nono is fun. As she funny, she's fun. She wants to go out. She dances quietly, but she is so funny. Like, actually, I also saw that. I'm like, this girl can party even when I'm out there. So that's why I think I'm asking that question, because I just wanted you to know that you are such a beautiful being, and your calmness that you bring in an environment. Yes, it might have been ibonakale differently, but then when again in your opening up in a big way, it's still in that beautiful like, let's always come here, you know, so that grounding. So please don't lose it. I know it's part of who you are. It's the most beautiful thing. And your last closing statement about what you do and what you hope for us now, as I can say, maybe as mothers, now as women in the space where we've grown so much as women that we are forming beautiful circles, we're forming beautiful groups where we are there for each other, even though before everybody will tell you put women in the same room, but for me, I think mainly this year, I've seen it. I've been having a circle of girlfriends, but this year has been so phenomenal that it continues to, you know. So your parting words on where we are as women race, you know, black, because there's a lot of things that we are fighting. You are fighting against yourself being a woman, true, being a black woman, you know, in everything. So your parting words with power in our story, what can you give the girls and boys next door out there? What we need to take away from these conversations and then where can we take this forward?
Never shrink for nobody. Don't shrink for nobody. You are so necessary. You are so important. Keep fighting. You know, we all have the fighting spirit in us. That fire, it may dim a bit somewhere along life because, you know, life has dips and, you know, but keep going back there. I cannot stress enough how important therapy is. We shy away from therapy. Therapy is not for sick people. Therapy is for you to get to knowing yourself, to figuring who you really are. You already know who you are. That is, it takes you to different levels that you may not have gotten into had you not been open and maybe spoken to someone. And I'm saying this with conviction and confidence because it worked for me. I think we tend to think we are good. Therapy is important. It's important. Go for therapy. And therapy, there's different methods. From the Power in My Story, that's been our, you know, we've been advocating that there's different types of healing. Healing can be twerking. Probably your body needs to move because certain areas in your body, you know, they explain it so well. Zuki explains it from Twerk for Africa, Twerk for Fitness Africa. She explains it so well that how when you move certain parts of the body, it heals certain parts that were locked maybe. There's power in yoga, there's power in journaling. The Power in My Story now is busy with a plan that will. So we are now 3. Myself, Murungwe, and Phumzile. So all our elements, all our elements are intertwining.
The other Phumzile.
The other Phumzile.
Okay, sorry.
The other Phumzile.
I'm like, you are here as part of the podcast. No, okay, the other one.
The other one. Yes, that I know through you.
Through me. Okay.
Yes, chance.
Nice.
So we are putting a program that is going to enhance. So we're starting from cognitive behavior. We are going into energy. We are going into art, expression. Now that's where you now let loose and express yourself and really get the all round of yourself. So I would say do the best that you can in this world that is chaotic. You do not have to change with it. You don't need to. With whatever the things that I've gone through, which I can't even cover for this session alone. There's worst things that has happened. As a young girl, I ended up being in wrong places, joining wrong groups. You know, certain things that happened that I never even anticipated that I would be doing them. But we know there's a part of us that knows who we are. Tap into that. fight for that, and let that come out. Your story is important. I can't stress that enough. Your story is important. It is someone's survival toolkit.
Sure. Thank you so much for joining me, guys. Sure. Mouthful. Yeah, no, I'm glad I listened. Conversations with the Phumzile, the girl next door. That is the power in her story. And my takeaway, I think, for this is, you've said that so many times, you are necessary. You are necessary. You know, I know normally we'll say you are important. So the new one, you are necessary. And your story is important. And irrespective of how somebody will think your story is a minute part of problems or issues, but there is so much in your story, and it has to be heard or told, or you must share it, because when you share your story, somebody else does heal, somebody else does learn from it, and somebody does find comfort, because some of the stories we almost live in a life, or we go through stuff and then we think we are alone, other than the stuff that you see on TV or on social media and all that. But the power in your story is important. And I loved what Nono kept on saying, to say, when we say no power in your story, at no, the reason why she says power in my story, the my part is, it's your story. Go through your story, go to yourself, know who you are, and check what is your story saying, and what is your story telling the other human race, because we are here so that others live through us. So Conversations with the Phumzile, the girl next door. This was Nono Lekhanya, and thank you for joining me. Yes. So do the right thing, and you know what you need to do. Subscribe, hit that like button, and yes, please, there's a bell that notifies you when we put up a video. You are the first one to know. So join us in Conversations. Thank you.